We are almost out of yogurt, so we're going to go ahead and make some. You can make however much you want, but we make half a gallon of yogurt at a time. And when I make the yogurt, I make it just plain, completely plain. And by doing so, we are able to use a plain yogurt in place of sour cream. And then if we want flavored yogurt, blueberry, apple, whatever, we can just flavor it as we want to eat it. Okay, so for my half gallon, I need 8 cups of milk. And this is just raw cow's milk. And I'm going to turn that on. I'm going to turn the heat on and heat it up to 180 degrees Fahrenheit while stirring occasionally to keep it from, burning or bottom. So like I said, this is for our half gallon, so that's why I need 8 cups of the milk. You can make a smaller batch. You can do just a cup or 2 cups or 4 cups or however much you want. All you need to know is that you need a heaping tablespoon of your yogurt starter for every 1 cup of your plain milk. I've never made yogurt with goat's milk, so I can't speak about that. But this will work for store-bought whole milk, pasteurized milk, 2% milk, and again, raw milk. Those I know for sure. So my yogurt starter here is what I took off the top of my last batch of yogurt. So the starter is very old. It is just what I keep cycling through. So this will be used to turn this into yogurt. And then tomorrow when this is done, I will scrape some more off, put back in this glass bowl, and have it for the next batch. In the meantime, this stays in the freezer. I got this out and put in the fridge this morning to thaw, but this stays in the freezer until I am ready to use it. You want to let the milk come up to 180 degrees, and you can use a regular thermometer, or you can use an instant read thermometer. It says it is 118 degrees right now. Again, this is raw milk. This has really good bacteria in it for your overall health, including your gut health. This is just so healthy. However, you want to let it come up to 180 degrees, and again, you do the same thing whether it's store-bought milk that's already been pasteurized. Let it come up to 180 degrees, and what that does is that kills, all the bacteria in it, the bad bacteria and most of the good bacteria in this raw milk as well, if not all of it. But the purpose of that is we want to culture this. And what that means is we want it to have a specific flavor, okay? So in order to do that, we need to kill all the bacteria that's currently in here so we can inoculate it with the flavor of the bacteria that we already want, okay? So that's the purpose of bringing it up to 180, is to kill all the bacteria that would affect, any wild ferments. Like, you could leave this out on the counter, and let it do its own thing, wild fermenting, and that's perfectly fine. But if you're wanting yogurt and you want it to taste a certain way and be a certain thickness and all of those little preferences that you want, you really need to culture it with something that is already dependable and it's stable and it's going to be the same each time. When you are heating up raw milk like this, you will find that it will kind of develop like a little skin on top. So for that, you can just skim it right off, or you can stay on top of it and keep it stirred in to keep it from forming in the first place. Okay, we are at 185 degrees, so that is more than enough. Now once you reach 180, you can either turn the heat off and just wait for it to cool down, or you can turn the heat to low and keep an eye on it, but try to maintain that 180-degree temperature for about 10 to 15 minutes. And what that does is it allows more of the water content to evaporate, which will create a little bit of a thicker yogurt for you. So I just turned my heat off. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the timer for 30 minutes. In 30 minutes, I'm going to come and check the temperature of this. It will not be ready yet, but I'm going to go ahead and check the temperature in 30 minutes. I want the temperature to come down to 110 degrees, okay? I'm just going to move this off of the heat. Once this comes down to 110 degrees Fahrenheit, then we will put the yogurt starter in here and then complete the next step. I always make our yogurt just before going to bed. And you will find out why in just a little bit. It took about an hour and 15 minutes for this to cool down to, it's 109 degrees. So now what we do is we go ahead and put our yogurt starter in. And you want to mix it in good to make sure it's all dissolved well. I don't know if you can see it or not, but I can see like the cream, the oil from the cream, you know, the fat on top. And when this is done tomorrow, it'll probably have a little layer of yellow on the top, and that's fine. You know, you can remove it or just mix it in. We just use it with the rest of it, but that's just the cream, the fat part. It's just the cream. Okay, so this is mixed in well. Now I'm going to put this in my half-gallon jar. I'll go ahead and drink this little bit. All right, so we have this half-gallon jar full. I'm going to put the lid on it. And this is going to go in the oven with only the light on. See, the light's on. So just the light on, the door closed, no heat. So it is 8:30 at night. So we have our yogurt in here. It's going to stay in the oven. The heat from the light is what is just the perfect temperature to help incubate it. So it'll stay in here all night long, and when I wake up in the morning, I will get it out, stick it in the fridge, and once it gets cold, it is done and ready to use. Good morning. Our yogurt has been in the oven all night long, so now it is time to take it out. And we're going to place it in the refrigerator. I'm going to turn the camera down so you can see that little faint yellow skin on top we talked about last night. See that? All right. What I like to do is before we actually dig into the yogurt, I like to set it in the fridge and let it stay there for a good day before we start to get into it. Here is the yogurt after it has been chilling in the fridge for a full day. You can see the yellow layer on top I was talking about, which is the cream. If you do not want any cream at all on top, then make sure that you skim off all the cream if you're dealing with raw milk. Now, what I am doing after the yogurt has been chilling for a full day is I take a generous 1 tablespoon
for each future cup of milk that I plan to turn into yogurt. So here I'm just scooping it out, and I actually put in 9 tablespoons just because I want to. You can see it's nice and thick. I just put it in a little glass container with a snap-on lid, and I take a dry erase marker and I just write yogurt starter on the lid, and then this container will go in the freezer and it will be ready to make my next batch of yogurt.
And that's all there is to it. So now you know how to make your own yogurt. You can make it homemade, it's easy, and it's so much more healthy for you. Thanks for watching.